Hey, what is going on, guys? Hex coming back again today. Let's bring a video, and as always, down in the title below will be the topic we're talking about today. And that topic today is actually about a show I really just recently stumbled upon, and that is Heavy Object. Heavy Object. This is a show that really has not anything wrong with it per se, but it's a show that definitely, so far that I've seen, it doesn't have anything stinging over the top. Given if so, and if it did, I feel as if this show would be truly something, well, special to say the least. But a lot of you guys are probably asking right now, like, what do you mean by that, Hex? What do you mean, like, it's basically really kind of perfect and it has no flaws, but yet it's not over the top? But what I mean by that is, it doesn't have a main plot point that really revolves around the whole story that just says, wow, this is awesome. Like, ReZero, for example. It's a show that, you know, definitely has time travel in it, if you want to say it's time travel and or time loop, but it's a certain quirk to it, like Return by Death, that really is like, wow. This thing can go a lot of directions. This is a mecha military anime and sci-fi, actually. Now, this is a way different sci-fi than the Irregular at the Magic High School, per se, like I did a review on about 6 days ago, a week ago. This is a lot different, and I do like how this one's different. First off, I want to say this really does represent what war is, in a sense, and I love it. I think it really does a good job making it feel like this is the military, this is a war, right? But at the same time, this is not a hardcore anime, and I don't mean like people don't die, because there's people that get, well, shot in the head in the first couple episodes, but it's not necessarily graphic, per se, but it's just a show that's really soft core, I would say. Due to the animation and the animation style, I'm not sure who actually even made this show, but I love the show still the same. It's what I like to consider a fun watch. Just a really fun watch. And so far, I'm like on episode 12, and I'm literally having a blast just watching it. Like, I'm having fun. And this is a show I can go back to and watch it, you know, 2, 3, 4 times, and just keep having fun with it. But I'm not saying it's the best show ever, and I'm not saying it's worse. I'm saying it's above average, at least how it's written. But I'm just saying that there's nothing that's really going to be like, whoa, this is that show. This is the next big thing. Now, one thing I do like about the show is the two main characters, and these characters aren't really made to have necessarily character development. It's about an adventure. It's about being in the military. It's about them trying to become what they wanted to be, but then getting kind of thrusted in this space of, I didn't want to be this. I wanted to be done with this by now. But hell, this would be one hell of a ride. Given, I think the biggest character development for this anime at all, for the two main characters, is simply going to be them getting used to their job. And that's not even necessarily anything huge. And yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't think there'll be necessarily any big character development, especially with the elite pilot and their commander, LaFolia. So now let's hop into the story. So this story basically takes place in a little bit in the future, and it's a revolutionary kind of story with these big things known as objects. And I'm not really sure why it's called heavy objects, maybe because they weigh like 20 tons, but I guess it's all the same. Now, it's called heavy object, and these objects are things that actually put tanks, jets, guns, and let alone people out of commission. The only people that are truly valuable are, I guess, a commander, people who run radars, and at the same time, the object pilot, and especially the object's maintenance. Because one thing we learned about this show is maintenance is very big when it comes to objects. These objects can't even really support themselves, at least for not that long whatsoever, which goes to show they need a lot more technology to really further this. But even so, objects are so dangerous, they're actually considered gods. And the big thing about the story, and what really drives it, is our two main characters are people who destroy objects without tanks, planes, not really even, I mean, they have guns to defend themselves against other people, but they don't use that to destroy objects. The only thing they really use is explosives, and basically, for the most part, destroy these things from the inside out, given there actually is a lot of strategic thinking to this, and that's where the sci-fi comes in. They scientifically destroy these objects, and I like that. It's a lot different than the Irregular at the Magic High School, which is probably way more, how would I put this, harder to, yeah, I think that's how I'm going to put that. You guys who have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It's way more complex. Now, the heavy objects per se isn't necessarily way more complex, given if you really pay attention to certain things, and maybe you still won't understand it, but if you pay attention to the most part, you will understand what's going on. It's pretty simplistic in that aspect, but it all makes sense. It's how it makes each battle kind of satisfying and ties it in a little bow, given these arcs do go by very quickly, given it's only about 2 to 3 episodes per arc and per object they destroy. But this is a world of war, and the world building in this show is absolutely terrific, because it goes to show that the world has been broken down in fragments, really. Like the state of Illinois in which I reside would have been like 50 fragmented territories. The world has really ceased to get along completely for the most part, and they're just little fragments. There's no more countries, there's no more really even continents. There are territories and or nations, and literally your nation may be like 200 by 200 feet. That's how big and small and fragmented these countries are. So given, if you want it simpler, a country itself is only about 200 by 200 square miles. That's how small the world's territories have become, and I absolutely love that. And there's even little things that go along, and they kind of, they're kind of like going to these different places, and that's world building too. They go to Antarctica, to the desert, and they go to these other deserts that actually have vegetation, and they even go into a little bit, tidbit about, hey, every 2 years so and so can do this, and this is how much vegetation will grow. It does little small world building things like that. Now, it's a feel good show. Well, once again, guys, it's nothing that's really going to truly set you over the top, but it's something that you can definitely enjoy. I mean, on my anime list, if you want to check it out, just type in heavy object, go to my anime list, type in heavy object in the top right corner, and you guys will find out what you guys are seeking about the synopsis. And it's actually a 7.40 rating if you guys were worried about that. But yes, I'm really interested. I'm halfway through it. I'm really interested. I just went ahead and did a review because, I mean, why not? I'm 12 episodes in, and if I really want to go back and talk about this show, I really can, and unless I do make this a first impression anyways. But I really kind of did this in a reviewing format, so I probably won't do that. This is the review, and I don't think there's really more to learn about. Maybe besides the introduction of new characters and how I talk about them, and maybe characters actually getting some surprising development, which I believe their commander La Folia, which, sorry if I pronounced that, but you guys know what I'm talking about if you guys have seen this and or are currently watching this. This is 24 episode anime, by the way. Now, I think she may get some, because she actually had a big part just explaining, hey, people want to be with me simply because I breed boys. And nobility, since I'm a noble, all these nobles want to be with nobles, and sometimes it's hard to have a hire unless he's a male. So they really like to breed with her specific family, because her noble family breeds boys 100% of the time, which she is a special case. That's why she's another option, because she still has that blood in her to which she'll breed a boy every single time. So her past is kind of, well, not even past, it's her present is really kind of effed up, and that's why she's really in the military, escaping it until she's a useless bag of bones and too old to have a child of her own. So that's my synopsis. That is my review. I highly recommend you guys go watch this. It's a fun anime to watch. It's not necessarily anything to be like, whoa, but at the same time, everything's gonna make sense. And everything's really just to be like, okay, there's really nothing wrong with this anime. It's one of those anime, I guess you could say, are the closest thing to perfection and or being perfect without being great. It's probably the best way I can put that. But hey, you guys have been Hex. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Hex25. I will see you guys next time. Peace.